we are on.
Okay, Mom, come on. You can do this. You need this job. Just turn your brain off and keep going. Is my mic on?
Tina, I don't know how to say this, but we're not going to be celebrating you on Secretary's Day. I try.
Hey, Carol, could you not sit on top of my desk? Because I end up just looking at your body.
Well, that's what I wanted.
Everybody, we're back from lunch in 5. We're back from lunch in 5. So please finish what you're eating.
Are you moving? Do you need some strong guys to help you move? Are you emotionally cold or in need of a psychological breakthrough? Then call 3 Strong Guys, Emotional Movers.
Could you be careful with the bookcase? It's an antique.
No problem. Hey, are you okay?
I just got promoted, and all my dad said was, guess you're not so dumb after all.
Sometimes older men have a hard time expressing emotion, and they hide the love behind sarcasm and humor.
This is You Don't Know Jack 2015. I'm your host, Cookie Masterson. And hey, wipe that smile off your face. This is serious. Okay, just kidding. There will be farts and stuff. It's nice to know you'll both have a shoulder to cry on when you utterly fail at this game. There's your hardware. If you think another player is clueless, screw them and make them answer immediately. If they miss it, you win extra cash. And our wrong answer of the game is brought to you by
the San Francisco Otter Choir. Free concerts every Wednesday, except for mating season.
Pick the wrong answer associated with our sponsor to win a fabulous prize and big cash. And right this way.
Get ready, time for question.
To get started, Bootyful. Let's analyze one of Kim Kardashian's body parts. About what percentage of Kim Kardashian's brain is just made up of water? 10%, 40%, 80%, or 100%? Players 1 and 2? What are you implying exactly? The correct answer is, Kim Kardashian's brain, and everybody else's brain for that matter, is made up of about 80% water. But that other 20% is just so round and firm, I can't stop thinking about it.
Oh, Mama, gonna tell you what I'm gonna do.
I call this one, his acting is alright. So, you know how they called Matthew McConaughey's resurgence as an actor his McConaissance? Well, if Matthew McConaughey is currently experiencing a McConaissance, then what period of his life just ended? The McCona Dark Ages, the McCona Industrial Age, the McCona Middle Ages, or the McCona Enlightenment? Player 2? All wrong. Player 1. The Renaissance first occurred in Italy in the late 14th century, immediately following the Middle Ages. So the McConaissance would follow the McCona Middle Ages. Which is funny because most Renaissance sculptures also need to put on a damn shirt.
Dance with me, Disco 3.
Up next, brought to you by the letter Unibrow.
Just to put the choices into order and buzz in and see if you are right. Question.
And if you get this one right, I'll rustle up some extra moolah for you. Arrange these Sesame Street characters in order of fewest to most eyebrows. Bert, Ernie, the Count. Ernie, Bert, the Count. Bert, Ernie, the Count. The Count, Bert, Ernie, or Ernie, the Count, Bert. Player 2. Player 1. It was begging to be picked. Ernie has no eyebrows at all, Bert has one long single eyebrow, and the Count has two eyebrows! And yet, none of them have ever blinked. Say hello to Duck Duck Swan. Say the cast of Duck Dynasty attends a performance of Swan Lake and thinks there are real waterfowl on stage. In their confusion, which character would they most likely shoot? Siegfried, Benno, Von Rothbart, or Odette? Player 1. Player 2. Odette is a princess who has been turned into a swan, so the Duck Dynasty crew would probably fill her full of lead. Especially if they find out she once fooled around with a lady swan in college. Here's one for you. The man in the backwards yellow hat. And it's a dis or dat. Player 2. Looks like you've got some catching up to do. This dis or dat is all yours. I'm going to read off 7 things, and for each one you tell me if it's an alleged antic by pop star Justin Bieber, or an antic by the classic children's book character Curious George. If it's Justin Bieber, press the square button. If it's Curious George, press the circle button. Player 1. Try to lock in your answer before Player 2, because if Player 2 gets it wrong, but you get it right, you'll steal that cash. We good? Here we go. Broke his leg, arrested for... and got high on... got abused... went to a... Forget George, I'm curious how someone could do this badly. I think we can all agree that it's time for that little bastard to get deported. And then it's your turn, Bieber. That's round 1. Don't forget, all the questions in round 2 are worth double. And hint, hint, keep an eye out for the wrong answer of the game. It's still out there. Okay, how about it? Here we have Dumber and Dumberer 2. So there's Dumb and Dumber, and then there was Dumb and Dumberer, and then Dumb and Dumber 2. Makes perfect sense. Now, going back a few decades, there was The Odd Couple and The Odd Couple 2. So, if another remake of The Odd Couple used the superlative adjective, it would be called The Blank Couple. Odd, odder, oddest, or odderest. Player 1. Odd is the adjective, odder is the comparative adjective, and oddest is the superlative adjective. But of course, everyone who made the original Odd Couple movies is dead, which means it's the perfect time for Rob Schneider to swoop in and revitalize the franchise. Player 2. No, but speaking of otter, get it? You just won! The greatest hits of the San Francisco Otter Choir. Hailed as one of the top 3 otter choirs in the world, the San Francisco Otter Choir will astound you with their covers of Little Red Corvette and The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. This wrong answer of the game has earned you a sweet 8,000 clams. Well done.
Question 7. Get up and change your monkey bang.
Let's try Let It Go, Let It Go, Let It Go. At which temperature would Olaf from the movie Frozen melt and die? 30 degrees Kelvin, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, or 30 degrees Rankine? He's a snowman. Player 2. Player 1. What? No. Let me show you something. 30 degrees is below freezing in Fahrenheit and insanely below freezing in Kelvin and Rankine. But it's pretty balmy in Celsius, about the equivalent of 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And I know, blah, 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 he can magically be saved, but I'm talking about what would happen in the real world to a talking snowman.
Follow me down to the sea.
Why not try Kangaroo, Peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus?
Kangaroo, Peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus.
first spotted in 1879? Kangaroo, peanut. Player 2, you've been screwed. You got 5 seconds. That's how you screw player 1. Want a little more money? Player 1. Albert Einstein was first spotted in 1879, the year he was born. Probably by a midwife or something, over a century after Uranus was discovered and even longer after kangaroos and peanuts. I've heard baby Einstein cried a lot because he left behind some important equations on the uterine wall. Here's one I like to call Wine or Lose. If the Washington Redskins rebranded themselves with a non-offensive red-skinned mascot, what could they be called? Goodness, player 1, you're screwed. You got 5 seconds to give me an answer. Well played, screw player 2. You want even more cash? Player 2. Chardonnays, Pinot Blancs, and Rieslings are all white-skinned grapes, but the Malbec grape is red. Although to a connoisseur like myself, Malbec is very offensive. Oh yes, I do say that was quite a burn. How about, I want to lick and roll all night? If Kiss singer Gene Simmons' tongue grew to the average length of an adult giraffe's, how deep into a woman's mouth could he stick it when he kissed her? About 5 inches deep, about 10 inches deep, about 20 inches deep, or about 30 inches? Player 2? I think at that point it would practically be coming out the other end. Player 1. An adult giraffe's tongue is on average about 18 to 20 inches long. So that's about how deep into a woman's mouth a giraffe-tongued Gene Simmons could stick it. And if Gene Simmons' neck grew to the length of an adult giraffe's, he may not even need women anymore. Brace yourself for the attack. When you see 2 clues that match, press the X button. 2,000 big ones if you're right, but you lose 2,000 if you're wrong. But keep this in mind. Remember the clue. It's gotta be a match that fits this clue. Your house is made of what? What materials are their houses made from? Good luck. player 1, you ended up with more cash than player 2, but since both of you ended up below 0, you owe me money. I'll accept checks or money orders made out to... You don't know